welcome to Radiovania, episode 69, your nerdy public radio for all things entertainment and pop culture. My name is Zach Rotello, at Zach Rotello on all the social medias, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whatever you want to call it. And sitting across from me is the Jimmy Buffett-looking John Swansong Parker.
Hey, how's it going? I think we should take a moment to shout out our sponsor, which is X-Men Dark Phoenix. If you forgot that there was another superhero movie this summer, then boy, were you wrong.
The movie
X-Men Dark Phoenix opens June 7th in most theaters, but it won't be there very long, so make sure you go out and check it out.
Yeah.
So that you can listen to the show.
Do we have a final drink bet prediction on what that Rotten Tomatoes score is going to be?
43.
43%?
Yes.
I'm going to shoot a little high.
Okay.
And say 68. 68%.
Okay.
Drink bet?
I guess.
All right, we're shaking on it. This is what a way to start off episode 69. This is quite an occasion.
You didn't see that coming, did you?
No, it didn't at all.
Like the Phoenix.
Rising from the ashes.
Or
just like Harry Potter.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know...
Is Harry Potter the best use of the Phoenix animal and metaphor?
Maybe. I don't know. I can't think of many other uses of the Phoenix in pop culture that work very well.
Right?
No? Alright.
Hey, how you doing? Hey,
For those of you that don't know, you're listening to Radiovania, a nerd culture, pop culture, entertainment podcast run by the likes of me and John, who are not professionals by any stretch of the imagination, but
not even close.
But we got thoughts. And
I think about a lot of things.
Yeah. This is basically our subconscious
spilled out onto
yeah.
those delicious orals that you were receiving.
Yeah. And so we're going to talk about... Today's episode is heavy news. Usually, it's been... The last time we recorded a show together
Like the news is heavy, or we have a lot of news?
We have a lot of news.
Okay, good. Because I don't know if I was ready.
Yeah. No, because sometimes it's like we'll talk about one big topic for a long time, but the last time...
Marvel!
The last time we did a show was Endgame.
Like 12 episodes have been about the Avengers.
That's true. But last episode was the Endgame review, which I know a lot of people were stoked about.
Was that our last one?
That was our last episode. Was the Endgame review.
How many times have you seen it since then?
I've only seen it twice in theaters. You've only seen it once?
The last time we saw it, yeah. It's a commitment. You know what?
It's 3 hours
long. I really, really wish it had an intermission. I really do. I wish they would have done it.
But that would be even more of a commitment, because then you have a space in the middle that you have to just sit at the theater.
Yeah, but then I could have gone to the bathroom, got another drink.
Sure.
You know.
Well, it'll be on streaming services by the end of the year.
Spoiler. When's the best time for intermission in Endgame?
I went to the bathroom the last time during the Gamora Nebula standoff, where it's like, I understand what's happening, I don't need to see this again. I'm taking a leak. See ya. Spoilers for Endgame, by the way.
I said spoilers at the beginning.
Oh, shit, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I would say the best time to go to the bathroom.
Don't you dare say Professor Hulk.
No, I would never. The Hulk giving Ant-Man a taco is one of the best cinematic achievements I've ever seen, because technically the Hulk should be able to break that taco really easily, but he's mastered the art of holding a shell without snapping, because he's great. I would say the best time to go to the bathroom, or like for it to have an intermission break where it's like a 5-minute timer or a 10-minute timer, is post Soul Stone. Like you have that, and then you're like, 10 minutes, and you're like,
well, that would be nice if the movie stopped, but the scene right after that is really, really great.
That's what I'm saying. Like the time stops. It's like a legitimate intermission, like Gone with the Wind or Hateful Eight.
Sure. But anyway,
I'm going to try and derail you as many times as possible.
That would be great, John.
Show.
Thank you so much. That helps in my hosting so much.
Yeah, you're doing great.
Yeah, so we got a lot of news today, so we're just going to dive straight into it. But before we dive straight into it, I want to ask... what are you doing?
Nothing.
What are you singing? Is that Old Town Road?
No.
Okay.
What do you want to ask?
What have you been watching? What have you been reading? What have you been playing? I know you might save reading for comic book shop talk, but...
I have been playing The Last of Us again.
Oh, fucking shit.
I have been reading many comics. and I have been watching Game of Thrones.
Yeah. I've been watching Game of Thrones too.
Okay.
Other than that, I saw Detective Pikachu, which isn't really a news story, so I guess I'll talk about it now. It was good. It was very entertaining and very pleasant to watch. It's the best video game movie ever made, which is not saying much because most of the video game movies that have been made are trash.
Better than Prince of Persia?
Yes, better than Prince of Persia, starring Jake Gyllenhaal.
Better than that Adam Sandler movie, the
Pixels?
arcade. Yeah.
Yes, way better. Than
all right, let me ask you this.
Yeah, hit me.
What is the best, besides Pikachu, the best looking Pokemon in the real life animation style that they use?
They show a Growlithe for a little bit, and my heart literally
Does that
stopped
one look
in my
really
chest.
cool because it looks like a dog?
It looks awesome.
That's
There's one scene where there's a police station, and they have a police dog that's a Growlithe. And my heart literally just melted out of my chest.
That's cool.
The best thing about this movie is, if you're a fan of Pokemon, if you've been alive since those games have come out, you should go see them, or go see the movie, because what you're going to get out of the movie is a realization of a world with Pokemon in it that's actually like pretty faithful to what you would imagine when you were a kid. But everything beyond that is very much it's a really kiddie story. Like, the story isn't very in-depth. It's very easy to understand for a younger audience. Like, there's not a whole lot of depth to it because they're trying to make it so that all ages can understand this, even, like, 5-year-olds. So when something big happens in the plot, someone always explains what's happening.
Did you see the first Pokemon movie in the theaters?
I did.
Yeah, me too. Isn't that weird how far we've come?
It is crazy.
That movie is bad.
I don't think so. I think it's actually pretty solid.
That first cartoon?
Yeah. That's Mew and Mewtwo, right?
Yeah.
That movie's awesome. Also, did you know that movie, Pokemon, the original movie, had a budget of $25 million?
That's a lot of money.
Guess how much the budget of Detective Pikachu was? Dead air.
$250 million.
Shooting high. 150.
Okay. I wasn't too far.
No, not too far, but $150 million to make this Pikachu movie. Anyway, though, I highly recommend it. Maybe don't rush out to the theater to see it, but definitely check it out when it comes to
rental. How are those
rental.
human actors? Is it like Transformers, where they're like
the worst part.
like the robots are the best part?
They're the worst part, but Ryan Reynolds saves it. Ryan Reynolds as Pikachu is awesome. He's funny. There's a lot of adult humor sprinkled in. It's very Pixar-like. So,
would you have preferred Danny DeVito?
No, actually. I think Ryan Reynolds did a good job.
How dare you?
I'm sorry. I think Danny DeVito would have been straight up disturbing in that role. Like, talking to the young...
It's me, Pikachu!
Yeah. I don't know.
Danny DeVito is a great American actor.
Strange man.
I love him.
But besides that, I've also been playing Days Gone.
Oh, shit. Did you buy it?
I did.
Are you disappointed?
Mildly.
Would you rather have played The Last of Us again?
So, my mantra is I'd always rather try something new than revisit the past.
Which is your source of failure. Yeah.
Thank you.
Got you.
I got Days Gone on a heavy discount.
Okay.
So I paid $45 for it as opposed to the regular $60 at retail. And I'm having about $45 worth of fun.
What if I told you that the voice and the mocap of the titular character, or not titular, but the main character of Days Gone,
Darth Maul,
is also Darth Maul?
Oh, I know.
Would you be happier?
Yeah, no, I knew going in that Sam Witwer was the voice of Deacon. No, so the game is fine. Honestly, I'm going to give it to you once I'm finished with it to borrow because I know you're not going to... You might not play the whole thing.
I'd probably...
It's trying so hard to be The Last of Us.
But you can't.
But you can't, and no one's as good as Naughty Dog. And the game is really buggy and not necessarily the perfect package. But a lot of the things that... I've fallen through the world map a few times.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've fallen through the world and like.
I heard that the horde system sometimes can kind of glitch out a little bit, just because it's very ambitious.
Yes, I haven't ran into any of that because I haven't actually got to the point where hordes are like a big deal for me yet. I'm about 30 or 40 hours into the game, but I will say
30 or 40 hours and there's no hordes?
Not yet. That's a big complaint that a lot of people have that I totally understand, is that the hordes are not playing a big enough part in the game.
How long is the game?
People have said it ranges from 50 to 60 hours.
That's too long.
What? Okay, so
this boils down to probably a personal opinion of mine, which is that's too much time for one game. That's why people that love The Witcher probably prefer games that length.
I love The Witcher.
Yeah, I need a more streamlined approach.
I get it.
Yeah.
I still want to give it to you to play because I think it would be healthy and cool for you to have this perspective of what it's like when someone tries to copy something that's so popular, is that they actually kind of do some things that I think are better than The Last of Us.
No! Yeah. You stop.
In terms of...
You shut your mouth.
No, in terms of gameplay... Here's the thing, John.
Don't do it.
Listen to me. Listen to Riley. In terms of gameplay, there's some things that Days Gone does that really builds upon that open world thing and really makes it feel like an interactive world to be a part of.
Do you craft your own shit?
Yeah. And it actually feels really good. And you feel like a real scarcity and a necessity to find these materials to craft all these things that you need to survive. And it does become sometimes you're in a situation where you're like, I don't know how the hell I'm going to get out of this. I've got to find and scrounge some shit real quick. And there's been a few moments where just because of the gameplay, I found my heart beating and I'm like, and then when I get out of that moment, I'm like, oh, okay, cool, I survived. This is awesome. Those are the moments where the game really shines. The story is a huge steaming pile of dog shit. They really tried so hard to be this emotional melodrama like The Last of Us, but they just didn't hit any character moments that really resonated with me. And so more than anything, I think you should play it for an evening, play a few hours of it, see what they're going for, and you'll immediately have a perspective on what outside developers are seeing in The Last of Us and how that game is transcending beyond, because it really is touching a lot of developers. We're going to see a lot more games like that moving forward. Those character-driven, story-driven, intimate, survival-based, dark, grim stories, and Days Gone is no exception. It fails in so many aspects. But it's fascinating. It's a fascinating study. I'm playing it just as I'm just befuddled so many times playing this game. But I recommend it for all you listening. If you can get it on sale for $40, $30. I mean, I think it's totally a fun game at but not a retail cost at $60. It's definitely not. It's got some problems for sure. What say we jump into the news, John?
Sure.
So you say you've been watching Game of Thrones.
I have.
I've been watching Game of Thrones as well.
I finished the show.
I finished it as well. Carly,
guess what happens at the end? I'm just kidding.
Carly has not finished the show. So we're going to discuss without spoilers for anybody out there that hasn't watched Game of Thrones that doesn't want to be spoiled by anything. We're not going to spoil anything.
I feel like this conversation is going to be really hard.
Well, we're not going to talk about in depth of the show because that could go on forever.
Okay.
I'm going to read you an article real fast though.
You can talk about the end.
I feel like the attitude of how you talk about the end of the show could still be considered.
I suppose so. If you're super concerned about,
I guess if Carly doesn't care, then it's fine.
Well, I'm not going to say anything spoilery.
Okay.
I'll leave the room.
Don't leave.
Game of Thrones finale sets new series high with a staggering 19.3 million viewers. This comes from Variety. It said it drew 19 million viewers, overtaking the previous series high of 18.4 that was last week. So the last episode, they gained almost 1 million more views on the last episode of the series from the second to last episode.
From the bells?
From the bells, yeah. The previous record holder for the single biggest viewership in HBO history was the season 4 premiere of The Sopranos in 2002. So Game of Thrones has finally eclipsed the highest viewed episode of HBO television, which is The Sopranos.
It's taken them that long to get there?
I guess so.
People love this. Hey, forget about it.
But the main thing I want to talk about real fast is, and like I said, I don't want to get into story stuff because we could talk about Game of Thrones till the cows come home. But,
Sure.
Daenerys
leading the stormtroopers is pretty crazy.
Yeah, that was pretty nuts. Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that.
Poe Dameron being Grey Worm's like successor.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool.
Yeah, Arya takes off her face and she's actually Indiana Jones.
Yeah, that was beautiful. Beautifully done, crafted, well done.
This is my favorite show of all time.
No, what I want to talk about is I'm sure you've seen or heard rumblings of the petitions.
I have heard about the petitions.
The 1 million signatures to make Benioff and Weiss admit that their final season was bad and to have new writers rewrite it and reshoot the final season.
This is a bunch of horse shit.
Well, it drew in 19 million viewers.
Yeah, well, that's 19 million people that need to take a chill pill. Because if they think for a second that was just the show writers ending to the show, then they need to rethink their priorities. Because that was definitely how the books were going to end.
Yeah.
For sure.
People are out there acting so high and mighty about this Game of Thrones finale. Like they own some sort of rights to say how they think the show should end. This is another person's creative vision. It's so frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like... It's so toxic. You know what I mean? Where it's like, what happened to when we used to just take things for what they were? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, remember, maybe you don't remember, but do you guys remember when, this could be a bad example, when we got those original Spider-Man movies, those Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies? That was like the first comic book movie we've had since Batman and Robin. You know what I mean?
It was a big deal. I remember waiting in line at midnight to see Spider-Man.
And no one complained about it for years. And then it's like something better came along and they're like, actually, now that I rewatched that Spider-Man show, it's kind of bad. You know what I mean? It's just like, I feel like it's because we have so much good content right now that it's really much easier to be able to just pick things apart.
Someone made a really astute comment on a podcast that I was listening to that we live in a year. 2019 is the year that Endgame happened.
Yeah.
And not to make like direct comparisons because they're completely different, but Endgame was high critical reception, high audience reception, one of the highest grossing things ever, completing a 10-plus year saga of films that was mostly satisfying. Most people felt that they were satisfied for those conclusions.
We shouldn't have anything else come out this year.
Honestly, you're probably right. But then it's like
because
Game of
everything's
Thrones...
going to be compared. Because like this is exactly what's going to happen when Star Wars comes out. Is it's either going to be compared to Game of Thrones or Endgame.
Yeah,
so
it's already one of the two.
It's already going to be
the story. The story is written on that episode. I do think that JJ is going to pull it around and make a satisfying conclusion. But that's another tale for another day.
Sure.
I think that Game of Thrones is inherently a show about more than just heroes succeeding. And I think that's why people had a lot of problems with the finale, is that it didn't necessarily...
I would say it's hardly a show about heroes.
Oh, yeah, at all. And
if anything, it's just about how do you survive.
Sure.
In the same way that the Walking Dead tries to be like that, right?
Yeah.
It's like, it's not about how do you deal with the zombie apocalypse, it's how do you deal with the people around you.
Yeah.
That's what Game of Thrones has been at its core, but at the beginning of this season, people had different ideas of what the show is going to be about. And it just that's not what the overarching story was supposed to be.
Yeah, but personally, give me a 1 or 2 sentence. Were you satisfied with the end of the show? And how would you rate this season among your favorites?
I was not overly satisfied with the end of the show. There were a couple things that after watching and thinking about, I was reasonably satisfied with, and I was like, I can see how that's a good ending. I just wish I would have had more time to stew on it.
I agree.
Like if this season would have been 10 episodes and we had the same finale but building up to it more, I would have been cool with it. In terms of where this season falls for me, it's like right in the middle.
Right in the middle. I'm with you.
Season 6 is still my favorite season of Game of Thrones.
Season 6 is the one with... I know she hasn't gotten there yet, but that's... I'm trying to think of the episode title.
Battle of the Bastards.
Okay, yeah, for sure. Okay, so...
Enough said.
Yeah, enough said. So, I was not satisfied with the very ending. I was honestly, I was digging this season because I liked the spectacle of Thrones.
The first half of the season was fun.
And then
really
the
good.
last half sort of divulged into some weird stuff. But I was not satisfied with the ending because, in the best terms I can put it, it felt to me like the last episode was setting up the next season, which there isn't one. And that kind of upset me because I feel like I was expecting a lot more finality from this show, and I didn't get that. And maybe we're going to see that in these spin-offs. George R.R. Martin just confirmed in an article recently that HBO is moving forward with the next 3 spin-offs for Game of Thrones. 3. So something's happening. This show is not dead. I think that the money train is rolling onwards. Yeah, so it worries me. It's like in an instance where Endgame is we are not at the end of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Fuck, we got a trailer for Spider-Man 2 just a few days after.
Don't call it Spider-Man 2.
Far From Home.
Thank you.
We got a trailer for Far From Home
They're
right
different.
after the Endgame ended. But Endgame felt so genuine and made me feel while I was watching it that this was a finality. That this did have a conclusion. It left some things kind of up to your imagination, but it really felt final to me.
It felt final for a couple people.
Yeah.
Is that what you expected from
For the
Game of
main
Thrones?
characters.
Not all the main characters are done, though, in the MCU. In the same way that I guess not all of them are probably done in Game of Thrones.
That's true, but just you can't argue that the way that
The
Endgame,
2 big ones are done, if that's what you're talking about, in Endgame.
I think a lot of the big ones are done. Most of the original cast is done. Spoilers for Endgame. Black Widow's storyline is basically done. The Hulk storyline is basically done.
Yeah, but Black
Captain
Widow's going to
America,
come back
Iron Man.
in another movie.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying in the moment, Game of Thrones could have done that episode in a way that it made me feel like closure, like the way Endgame did, where I felt closure.
I would argue that a couple people that I've talked to felt like they got that same closure.
See, and it's different strokes, different folks. I know a lot of people really dug the ending, but
so in the same way that I liked the ending for Thor in Endgame, but I know it leads to something else. Some other people felt the same way about other characters in Game of Thrones.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And that's just, again, different strokes for different folks. But in terms of, I agree with you, in terms of concluding something and adding an end period to a story, everyone wants what Bilbo says at the beginning of the Fellowship of the Ring, right? They all lived happily ever, period. Or something like that, where it's just the end of something. It's hard to divulge what the end of Game of Thrones is supposed to be because it was rushed.
Yeah, I was just hoping for more of a final conclusion, and I didn't necessarily feel like I got that.
I think we got our conclusion really early on, and then they kept.
And we had some audio issues there that cut out a little bit, so we don't know where we were and what we were talking about. But hey, we're gonna keep going on Game of Thrones. John.
Sorry,
I had a heat stroke there.
Oh, you okay?
I'm okay. I'm doing okay.
I think the last thing we were talking about was how the overarching plot of the last season didn't seem to register with everybody in terms of wrapping things up.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think...
But I don't know, because the audio cut out for a solid 10 minutes, and we talked about a lot of things.
So, you can, folks, leave it up to your imaginations what John and I thought about Game of Thrones.
That's probably pretty good.
Yeah, in my opinion, not the best season ever. I'd rank it higher than 5.
Okay, so let me propose something to you. Let's not end on a bashing note. Let's talk about the series as a whole. Good series of television as a whole, not just including the last season.
Yeah, I think it's one of the best things that's ever been on television.
I agree. I think it's one of the best produced, written, and acted shows. Whether or not it's so hard to finish a television show. A lot of people don't realize that. You could have a trilogy of movies lined up, and that's so much more complicated than even having a whole season of television written. You know what I mean? I always this is a cheap comparison, but I like to compare it to Lost. You know what I mean? Lost approached each season as a new storyline, pretty much, right? And it's just by the end of it, it's just what the hell are we doing?
Yep.
You know what I mean? Game of Thrones was able to keep a couple through lines, but television's hard, man. It is hard to keep something going through the entire thing. I would say the best form of a complete television show is still Breaking Bad.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. I think Breaking Bad delivered what we wanted. What I wanted was a satisfying conclusion to these characters, and
just a good ending to the show that made sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think
that's the only one that I've seen that's not a comedy that has made sense to me.
And I think to keep Game of Thrones for continuing on for another 3 or 4 years, which they well could have, this cast wanted to move on. The directors and writers and the producers wanted to move on. I think that this is the best that they could do with the time that they were given. Unfortunately for the viewers, I think they rushed a lot of things that I would have liked to have seen more fleshed out.
I think if season 7 and 8 were both full 10-episode seasons and the entire show is 80 episodes, I do think it would have been a little bit better. I really do.
I think so too.
But I guess we'll never know.
We will never know because Game of Thrones is over. Except when they do all 3 spin-offs and then Redacted goes on Redacted Adventure.
And then it's back.
Yeah.
I don't think that'll be the first one, but I do think that will be one of them.
Yeah.
In like 6 years.
I think so too. And give it a little bit of time, but that'll be one of them for sure.
Same way like they're going to make a Lando movie.
Yeah.
In like 6 years.
Sure.
Yeah.
So
maybe they'll team up. I would watch that.
That would be cool.
That'd be pretty sick.
We started talking about it before the audio cut off, but we were going to give a little bit of tribute to Peter Mayhew.
Yeah.
Passed away while we, in between episodes, so we didn't get a chance to talk about it.
Passed away 2 days before Star Wars Day. He also passed away after Celebration. He was there. He had to cancel a couple of his photo opportunities because he wasn't feeling well, but he still made an appearance to take pictures with a couple of people. Like that's how committed he was to the fans and to Star Wars, and to traveling. Peter Mayhew, like for those of you that might not know, he's been riddled to like a wheelchair for the most part for like the past 5 years. So like all of his roles in the Force Awakens were sitting in the cockpit in the Force Awakens, and then
VO
training the new kid Jonas Soltimo to play Chewbacca in the Force Awakens, Solo, and The Last Jedi, and then Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
So it's really sad. It makes me really sad because I've actually met Peter Mayhew. He was and this is what is very hard for me, is that he was the first actor from Star Wars that I met ever. I went to a Comic-Con when I was like 8 years old.
Yeah.
And I went to see him. He didn't have too big of a line. This was back in like 09 or something like that, like when we didn't think we'd see Star Wars again. And I was like, what's your favorite Star Wars movie? You know, like something that a kid would ask when you meet somebody. And he was like, my favorite Star Wars movie is The Empire Strikes Back. And I was like, why? And he's like, The Empire Strikes Back is my favorite because it made Chewbacca a character. He's like, I felt like in Star Wars that he was a side character and that he wasn't really given much of a role. But he's like, in Empire Strikes Back, I was allowed to be able to provide emotion and provide character development. And if you go back and you watch those two back to back, in Empire, you feel a lot of emotion from the way Chewbacca acts. And the best way that I could ever describe Chewbacca is that he's just a caring individual. He cares a lot about Han Solo and Luke Skywalker and Leia and all those people. And if you watch even from the opening of Empire, when that guy with the mustache comes up and he's like, Princess, I'm sorry, we can't do any more tonight. The shield doors must be closed. Yeah. And she's like, all right, close them. And then it's like, and it closes, and Chewie's like, brrr, and he's just like genuinely concerned. Like that's what you get that entire movie, and that ties in all the way to the third act, which is a good through line by the director to have him freaking out when Han's about to get put in, where he's like throwing stormtroopers off the side, and C-3PO is like, I'm not ready to die, and he's like freaking out on the back of Chewie, and then Han's like, you have to take care of the princess. You know what I mean? It's just like making him a character by the end of that film was not something that everybody's ready for, and now he's one of the only people alive in the current Star Wars canon, and someone who will live on far beyond whenever his character arc ends.
I mean, the character of Chewbacca is completely beloved. You can attribute that to a lot of different things, but the heart of it is Peter Mayhew. And because, like, one of the things that I really respected about him is that I'd never met him, I never talked to him, I don't really know much about his personal life, But what I really appreciated is that he was very active in Star Wars communities, like fan shows, conventions. He even like had a personal Reddit account that he would post to the Star Wars sub, like just cool photos that he found of like old shoot days and everything like that. And like he genuinely seemed like Harrison Ford or whatever, but Harrison Ford is a curmudgeon who doesn't really give a whole fuck. Mark Hamill's got a lot going on. Carrie Fisher had a lot going on, but like Peter Mayhew dedicated a little bit of time to like interact with the fans, even when he didn't really have to, outside of conventions. Sure. And that's important. That's a huge part of why the Star Wars fan base is so active and so tight knit. Is that it's like people like that.
Yeah.
And so, big shout out to me for Peter Mayhew.
Yeah, it's just like it's gonna bring a lot of emotional weight going into Star Wars Episode 9, because this will actually be the first one that Carrie wasn't even a part of filming, and Peter also wasn't a part of filming. Yeah. You know what I mean? But those characters are both still going to be in it. So those scenes are going to be very emotionally impactful for a lot of the fan base.
I think so.
But thank you, Peter, for all that you did, both on film and for the community as a whole. Chewie will never, ever be missed.
Absolutely.
As a part of the community. He's part of it forever. He's not going to be gone.
So, with that, why don't we talk some Marvel? Because it's been a minute since we talked about Marvel, right,
Yeah, it's
John?
been like 20 seconds.
Yeah. Endgame made a lot of money.
A lot of money.
Endgame made a lot of money.
Is it passed Titanic?
Yes.
Is it past Avatar?
We're about to check right now. I don't think so, because I think I would have seen that as an article.
You know what stopped it from passing Avatar?
Pikachu?
No, John Wick 3.
Oh, really?
It really threw a wrench in its box office plan. Yeah. People love those John Wick movies, and that John Wick came out last weekend, and it was number 1 in the box office domestically.
I mean, good for John Wick.
No, it's great. I mean, whoa.
I mean, I want to see Avatar dethroned so bad, just because I hate that movie and I hate James Cameron.
I wanted it to be dethroned really badly too, but I also am proud of Keanu.
For sure.
What's it at though?
As of right now, it's sitting at $2,650,256,736.
It's got another $500 million to go.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of ways to go.
I don't know if it's going to get there, man.
I don't think it's going to get there either, and that's a huge bummer. But
okay,
we'll
so
see.
let me ask you this: will we ever see something dethrone Avatar? Or was Avatar the right time? We've talked about this. Avatar is a phenomenon.
It is a phenomenon, but Endgame got so close.
Yeah, but if Endgame took 10 years to build to and it still didn't beat it, I don't know if there's, like, it's going to take another, like, one-off phenomenon.
Maybe. Avatar 2.
Yeah, like Jack Nicholson and Zazie Beetz romantic comedy or something like that, right?
Yeah, sure.
Here's what you gotta do, Sparky.
Yeah, I don't know. And now it's going up against Aladdin, even though Aladdin's like not doing super well critically, it's still going to be like an easy family
It's a
sell.
new movie. Yeah, that's the thing is Avengers had a whole month, roughly, just about, to run train on everything.
Yeah.
Even with Pikachu coming out, it was still number 1.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's going to start tapering off. So it depends on how long it stays in theaters.
Oh, it's going to stay in theaters for at least another month, maybe another month and a half.
They don't have another Marvel movie coming out this year, do they?
Nope.
So
except for Spider-Man.
When does that come out?
Spider-Man comes out... Yikes. Vamp. July 2nd.
July?
July 2nd.
All right. I bet you they'll pull Infinity War June 10th from theaters.
I bet you it'll play all the way up till...
Really?
Yeah. Infinity War and Captain
Doesn't that
Marvel
kind of hurt your
right
feelings, though, for like things that need screen space?
People are going to go see whatever, man.
Yeah, but what about these little indie films that need a little screener?
We'll eventually get to a point where the theaters are just for blockbusters. I keep saying it. It's going to happen.
Home video.
But yeah, so right off the heat of Endgame, we got the Spider-Man Far From Home trailer, which starts with a warning from Tom Holland about spoilers, which
It's funny.
Is funny considering the irony. What did you think of the trailer?
It's a cool cut trailer. It did not get me as excited as the Homecoming trailer did.
I agree.
But it is riddled of spoilers, which is cool. Which is cool that they're like making it very connective, considering that it is the first like post Endgame thing that I have. And I have a couple problems with, which I'm sure you've already read about, which is like, how the hell is he still in high school?
Yeah.
He was time displaced. I love this part. He was time displaced for like 5 years, right? So he should technically be older than that. Like, yeah, he didn't get a diploma, but like, you don't want to do a Billy Madison thing or anything like that. But
no, I think that they're gonna explain a lot of that. I think they're gonna like it might be a 1 or 2 sentence thing, but they're gonna explain it. They're gonna gloss over it. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, it's gonna be fun. Spider-Man is always fun. I also love this because it's like I've seen a couple of these places with my friends, so like, I'm really excited to see that. But there's like a big heavy hand from Nick Fury in this movie that feels like they were like saving it from Endgame, which is like I'm very curious about that. Also, I don't buy this shit for a second.
Oh no, I don't think anyone does. Mysterio's a bad guy in the comics.
He's an actor.
Yeah.
So
most of the stuff is being faked.
But that makes me feel like Nick Fury kind of sucks at his job. He's just getting duped by people.
Well, a lot of people seem to think Nick Fury is going to be a Skrull.
But the Skrulls are good guys.
Well, not all the Skrulls are good guys.
Oh, you said they were good guys when we talked about Captain Marvel.
I said the Skrulls and Captain Marvel are good guys, but... No, I think
that was the whole tribe. That was the problem, is that they were runaway slaves.
I think there's a good chance that Nick Fury is not Nick Fury. And I think that could be an explanation as to why he wasn't in Endgame. Or up until the last
We'll see. I feel like
seconds.
it won't be that confusing. That's a lot of storylines to deal with.
I don't know. This is going to be a 2.5-hour movie.
You think?
Yeah.
That's a lot of time for Spider-Man.
They're going to have to do a lot of stuff in this movie.
Do you think Tony Stark's in this movie?
Yes. I don't think...
artificial intelligence?
I think at bare minimum, he's a voice.
Like an artificial intelligence voice? Like Friday?
Maybe for like a few seconds, but...
I bet you he'll be the new Jarvis.
I don't think
he'll be like, "Hey Tony, what do I do?" And he's like, "Figure it out."
Yeah.
And then it switches to something.
I see what people say when they do, like they're talking about that. I think that would be a smart move to make, but at the same time, you have to imagine that Robert Downey Jr., as beloved as that character is, you want to distance yourself from him, but at the same time, you have to kind of keep this. This is the movie to have the one line.
But Zach, no one's ever really gone.
That's true. No one's ever really gone.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
No, I don't think they're going to pay... They're going to say, like, we can have Robert Downey Jr. in this, but we can't pay him any more than $1 million. So what does $1 million of Robert Downey Jr. cost us?
2 lines.
2 lines in a VO booth. That's all you're going to get, because you got Nick Fury in this, you got all these kids, you got Jake Gyllenhaal, your budget's going elsewhere. Like, you're not going to put that money into RDJ when he's already been written out of this series. Like, he's been given a fitting conclusion. You don't want to muddle that.
I'll tell you what I do like is that they the new Spider-Man franchise is giving life to Favreau as a character.
Yeah, happy. It's cool to see. I like Favreau.
You don't ghost Nick Fury. So hip.
From unilad.com.uk, which is a site that I've never heard of in my fucking life. What's got 2 thumbs, 4 thumbs if the original 2 are chopped off, and possibly coming to a Spider-Man film near you? Everyone's favorite, renegade, degenerate, Deadpool. So there's a rumor that Deadpool, they're working away, an inside source has told this rando website called unilad.com.uk. This is a film and TV website from the UK that a source has told them that, quote, where is it? Quote, Marvel is currently considering different options to introduce Deadpool to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. End quote. Wade Wilson, so...
I don't know if that's a good idea.
Where is it? It said, Wade Wilson's entry into the MCU is said to be from 3 different angles. Quote, a new solo film such as Deadpool 3, comma, a new Disney Plus limited series, comma, guest starring in Spider-Man 3.
Like all of those?
End quote. There, it says is said to be from 3 angles. So
all of those.
It could be all of those, or it could be their
like vantage point,
or they're deciding between them. I think they're deciding between them because there's no way you're.
But that would be cool if they did like a vantage point thing, where it's like from multiple different things.
Yes, but
it'd be kind of funny.
It would be funny, but
it's like Lost. Like they go back to multiple things.
Yeah,
like scenes from different perspectives. So it's like in Spider-Man, it's from Peter. In Deadpool, it's from Wade. And then from the television show, it's like an ice cream shop vendor who like puts an ice cream thing on a cone. It's like, here you go. And Wade's like, the hell? I ordered pistachio. Throws it behind him in the trash can.
That was hilarious. Are you the writer for Ryan Reynolds?
That's me.
Deadpool?
I'm the Ghost Rider.
Nicolas Cage Ghost Rider?
Mm-hmm.
No, so I think of all of these, the guest starring in Spider-Man 3, I think just that plain out doesn't work. I
don't know. These Spider-Man movies are pretty crazy.
They're crazy, but at the same time, Spider-Man is one of the most well-known
Spider-Man and
of the
Deadpool
characters.
have also had a ongoing series together for 3 years.
Really? I don't know. Of any of the current heroes,
I think Deadpool 3 is the most likely, but I think that the Spider-Man one is the second most likely. I don't think establishing a new television show is the best.
It would be interesting to see what they could do with a limited run Deadpool series on TV, though. On
they had that with Childish Gambino, and they ruined it.
With Deadpool? What are you talking about?
Didn't he have a Deadpool cartoon?
Oh, that's right. Well, it didn't ever get made.
That's the thing.
So it was going to be animated in hard R on Adult Swim or something.
Do that on the Disney streaming.
Okay.
Disclaimer.
John, let's talk
like
about
Rick and Morty.
The hottest thing to come to theater screens near you. Oh my god, I knocked over a beer can. Whatever. John.
The hottest garbage.
Do you gotta go fast?
No.
I gotta go fast.
Would you rather watch this or Fast and the Furious 9?
This.
I would rather watch Fast and the Furious 9 out of context than this movie.
John, I'm so excited.
Why?
Because I'm going to be drunk as fuck in this theater. And I'm going to be laughing my ass off the whole way through.
I will tell you that Jim Carrey as the Eggman looks great. Dr. Robotnik. Carly, would you rather watch Venom or Sonic?
That's a hard question. Venom?
Yeah.
We should watch Venom tonight.
That's how bad Sonic is. Huh?
Do you want to watch Venom tonight?
Hell no.
Venom. No, I think this movie looks like hot garbage. It looks like a mistake of life.
They got some good talent for this, though. That's the thing that's driving me nuts.
Yeah, James Marsden, Jim Carrey, you got
that guy,
John Ralphio,
Dum Dugan.
Yeah, no, I the real
it got delayed. So is it actually November? Or is it next year?
No. So what happened was that the fan uprise, people were making fun of this trailer nonstop because it's a shitty trailer and it looks terrible. And Sonic looks bad.
He looks really bad.
He looks like a fucking a freakazoid. And the director came out about like a week after the trailer dropped and said that where's the quote? "Thank you for your support and the criticism. The message is loud and clear. You aren't happy with the design and you want changes. It's going to happen. Everyone at Paramount and Sega are fully committed to making this character the best he can be. Hashtag Sonic movie. Hashtag gotta fix fast." And then, John, what happened?
Got delayed.
It got delayed. Jeff Fowler tweeted, I think 2 days ago, he said, "Taking a little more time to make Sonic just right. Hashtag no VFX artists were harmed in the making of this movie." And it got delayed to February 14th, 2020. So they heard you loud and clear, Internet. They're going to remake Sonic.
That's really bad, though, because you know what else comes out in February 2020?
What's that?
Black Panther 2.
Really, that soon?
There's a Marvel movie slated for February 2020, and the last one came out in February, so...
I think it's the Inhumans.
No, I think it's Black Panther 2. Do you know anything about the Inhumans?
Not really.
That's another combo. Anyway, next.
Yeah.
Is this it? this shit looks awesome.
This is it. John, you've been reading it, right? Or you read it?
Most of it. This I've seen the movie though, the first one.
Yeah.
This looks great. It's creepy as hell.
Are you
Have
excited?
you seen this, Carly? You're a horror fan. No? You haven't either of you seen the new It movie?
No.
What? You guys need to watch it. We're watching that tonight.
No.
Come on, Georgie, why not? You don't want to hang out with me?
This looks float down here.
Dude, this looks sweet. Like,
no, yeah, the trailer looks really cool.
Jessica Chastain, McAvoy, Bill Hader.
Bill Hader.
Yeah, it looks cool. But yeah, this I love how the trailer is the scene.
Yeah.
I wish more movies did this.
I agree with that.
I hate the sizzle reels as much as I would have. Like, I just love a good scene every now and then to get me hyped.
This works in certain instances, but not in others. Like, I wouldn't want to have seen, like, this sort of format in something like Endgame.
What if the only Endgame trailer you got was him and Nebula playing football at the table? Where they're flicking it back and forth.
I don't know.
That would get me hyped. I'd be like, okay, I'm ready.
All right, let's see what you got.
Yeah.
No, I think that moment was cool because I didn't see it coming. Like, I thought it was going to be a really dire.
But if that's the only thing you saw, then you wouldn't see anything else coming.
I guess that's true. I guess that's true.
You got to put it in your perspective up here.
What's your 1 to 10 scale of frightness on old naked ladies, John?
Dude, after The Shining and this, like 10. Also, like, ugh. Like, right, where is it?
Yeah, it's this shot right here where she's looking at the photos and then it's like, I think it's like the reverse shot of that. It's like,
my hair stood up.
Well, it's not that. That one is fine or whatever because it's like just her face poking out. But then when she scurries across it's like, it's real goofy.
Yeah, it's freaky as hell.
I don't know. So the biggest complaint that most critics had about it, Chapter 1, was that it has way too many jump scares. I'm really hoping that the second part doesn't do the same thing because that's what turned me off from wanting to go see the first one, is that I don't like jump scares. I don't like things...
It doesn't have that many jump scares. I saw that movie. Yeah.
I do. I hate people jumping out and saying boo. I hate that. What I like in horror movies is silence and really creepy imagery. Like, I do not like being startled. It makes me anxious. It makes my heart beat. I don't like it. It makes me uncomfortable. So hopefully this is
this part right here
cool conclusion. Yeah,
is really great. Good directing right here. Ooh, he's creepy.
Yeah, dude. Pennywise. So yeah, It horror movie of the year. There we go. Oh, where's the volume coming from?
You come back to Derry often, Zach?
So John, are you all set with your drinking apparatus? Or are you going to need more beer?
It depends. What are we talking about?
We're about to talk about the big piece of news.
Okay.
The big piece of news. As in, maybe some would say, a Gotham-sized piece of news.
Oh, then I'll need another beer.
All right, so we're going to get another beer. Hold on.
Wait, where? You got to start over.
All right, do it now.
Okay. Batman is just a mask, Rachel. This is my true face, William Turner.
Yeah, that's right, everybody. Batman. We're going to talk about Batman. We're going to talk about DC.
It's about goddamn time. We've been talking about the Avengers for like a year.
Yeah, it's time to... Let's watch DC shit the bed again. Everybody ready for this? John? Variety reported on May 16th, so just a few days ago, Robert Pattinson has been eyed to play the Batman for Matt Reeves and Warner Brothers.
But they never confirmed it.
No, it hasn't been confirmed yet. None of this information, so from this article for the next 3
For all we know,
articles-
Ben Affleck could still be Batman.
Yeah, for all we know. Yeah, right. No, none of the information that we're about to talk about has been confirmed by any official source. So this is all
of this,
speculation.
So none of the things that we say for the next an hour will be true.
God, if we talk about this for an hour, I'm going to kill myself.
No, you're not.
While sources say it's not yet a done deal, Pattinson is the top choice for the part. Warner Brothers had no comment when reached out about this. Pre-production on the picture is expected to start this coming summer, so it makes sense that right about now they're starting to finalize hiring and finalizing those big roles. There was also some conjecture from, I think, The Wrap or Esquire that Robert Pattinson wasn't the done deal choice, but what's his name from who's the guy in X-Men that plays Blue Man now? Beast. New guy. Nicholas Hoult.
Nicholas Hoult?
Nicholas Hoult is also being considered, apparently, considered to other sources, is also being considered to play Batman.
I think I like either of those choices. But
so before I get into the next article about like more detailed stuff about the Batman...
Pause real quick.
Yeah, hit me.
Did you hear that Henry Cavill is being considered as Wolverine for the MCU? And that's why he quit Superman?
What?
No joke.
Is this real?
This is real. Look it up.
All right, I'm gonna look at it. Oh, okay. So while I'm looking this up, give me your opinions on this whole, without discussing the stuff about the plot or the villains or the stuff that we're going to talk about after.
Talking about Batman.
I'm just talking about the character of Batman and Robert Pattinson and or Nicholas Hoult.
Okay, all right. So
it.
I wasn't mad when they were like Robert Pattinson probably playing Batman, because I do think that, you know, like given some physical training, he could get built up to be a little more superhuman than Bruce Wayne is supposed to be. But I feel like he's kind of moody. You know what I mean? Like he could pull off that moody Bruce Wayne thing, and possibly the thing. And this sounds really weird. This is gonna sound sexual, so whatever, take it the way you want. But if you're playing Batman, it's all about this part of your mouth, like your chin, and you know what I mean. Like you have to look good in the cowl. That's why Ben Affleck got cast, I swear to God, is because he had that cool double cleft chin. They were like, oh, that guy would look great in a Batman suit. So I feel like Robert Pattinson wouldn't have been bad. The problem that I had is when they started announcing story elements. That's when I was disinterested. So it wasn't the casting that drove me away as much as like the villain
and the
speculation and stuff like that. And it's not because, I mean, the story could be completely different, and I bet you know, it could be a Joker situation where that trailer comes out and we're like, wow, this is not what I thought it was going to be. But as of what they've said right now, I'm not excited.
As of what they've said, you mean as of what has been reported or leaked?
Yes, correct.
So it's
so
like
none of it could be true.
None of this could be true.
None of it could be
like,
true.
We could wake up tomorrow morning and Robert Pattinson has never spoken of again in terms of Batman.
Yeah, and
like,
they could cast
totally different.
They could cast John Hamm as Batman,
which I know a lot of people are clamoring.
But you sent me a really cool text that I will hope is true, which is Robert Pattinson is Batman Beyond, and they bring back Michael Keaton as Bruce Wayne. Because if that is true, take all my money, like all of it. That sounds really cool.
Well, so the rumor before we get into story stuff was that, what's his name? The director, Planet of the Apes.
Matt Reeves.
Matt Reeves. Yes, sorry, thank you.
Those Apes movies are dope.
Great. They're great.
Dope.
I have total faith in Matt Reeves. If Robert Pattinson ends up being his choice for this role, do whatever. Like,
he believed in
surprise me.
What's his name? Jason, whatever his face.
Yeah, the ugly guy.
Jason Clarke.
Jason Clarke.
Yeah,
he's a great actor.
Kerry Russell. I mean, like they're all really good actors, but like he picks small, which I appreciate.
Yeah. So if this is the role that they want to go with, fine. Show me what you got. Give me the best possible interpretation of this character. I want to see what you can do when you give.
Well,
me
and they
100%.
said that his trilogy is supposed to be a more detective focused Batman story. So it's not as like Batman is gonna win because he's gonna literally beat the living shit out of somebody. It's like he's gonna outthink his opponents. No. I like that. That's a very animated series approach.
Well, and even before all this leak stuff, Matt Reeves had talked about the fact that he was aiming young.
And he's going for a noir approach, which I'm wondering, do you think it would be a period piece Batman trilogy?
I don't think so. I think there's too much. It's complicated to do period pieces, and like
Wonder Woman did it.
That's true. Wonder Woman did do it, but like, so I guess you could set like if you set like a Robert Pattinson in like the 90s or something, or like late 80s, you could do like a young Batman thing, and then maybe like age him up for the next.
Well, I mean,
sequel,
you could even do the 60s, and then he's Ben Affleck at a certain point.
God, no, please. Just no. No, I think that they're moving completely away from Affleck.
Is he the worst Batman?
No.
Who's the worst Batman?
Val Kilmer.
My man, give me some.
Even though I love that movie with a burning passion.
Do you?
It's fun. It's,
Batman Forever?
It's goofy.
You sure you're not thinking of Batman and Robin? The actual
Batman and Robin is George Clooney. Batman.
That's a fun one.
Batman.
That's a fun bad one. Batman
Val
Forever
Kilmer
is atrocious.
Val Kilmer Batman's the one with Jim Carrey, right?
Yeah, it's atrocious.
That's not bad.
Oh no, it's awful.
I mean, it's a bad movie.
Tommy Lee Jones trying to one up Jim Carrey and comedic one-liners is atrocious to watch. Yeah. And what's her name? The Australian actress. I'm forgetting her name. Nicole Kidman is terrible in that movie. Yeah. She's terrible. And Chris O'Donnell is supposed to be the boy wonder, and he's like 30 in that movie. He's like, oh, geez, Batman. It's like, dude, you should have a home by now.
We should watch Batman Forever after this.
I'm not watching that movie ever again.
Yeah, all right, so we're done with the Batman stuff with, like, the character.
Oh, you didn't say what you thought.
About Robert Pattinson?
Yeah.
I think that I don't know. Is that the best?
This show is fucking awful.
No, it's fine. The show's great.
Carly, what do you think?
It's hard for me to imagine Robert Pattinson without translucent blue skin. But,
there you go. I knew someone's going to bring it up.
You know, it'll take a lot of convincing, but I don't doubt that he's grown as an actor since those times. So my hope is not lost, but it's an interesting choice.
Who's your favorite Batman, everybody, before we move on?
Christian Bale.
Same.
It's just because those movies are the best. I mean, you have the best character tied to the best movies, so...
Yeah, I like the cartoon one.
Here's the thing, is that, like, I think Robert Pattinson... I think anyone could be a good Batman if they have the right direction and the right motivation. I think that Robert Pattinson has been... I see articles about him all the time in terms of, like, being in these indie darling films, doing these really great roles that I just don't give a fuck about and I've never seen. But I think that, you know, if this does end up being true, I'm going to go seek out some of Robert Pattinson's, like, more recent roles in these smaller films.
I kind of want to just be surprised, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because the only things I've seen him in is Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire and the first Twilight movie. So
Same here.
Same.
He's a great Cedric Diggory. Great.
Yeah.
What do you mean, yeah? He's
awesome.
I
never really thought Cedric Diggory was a great character.
How dare you?
I'm sorry.
You call yourself a Hufflepuff. That's our guy. He's the best of us,
dude. It's Hufflepuff Puff Pass. I'm there. I'm in the privy room, or what do they call it? The common room.
Yes.
The privy room is the bathroom.
That's where you go. That's where you take a piss. He's in the privy room.
No, I'm in the common room going, Cedric Diggory. I don't know. Aloha Mora.
Dude, Cedric Diggory in The Goblet of Fire is one of the most tragic moments ever.
Take my voting back.
Yeah. That will ruin you. That will ruin you. It will ruin you. You can't tell me you didn't feel anything when you watched that.
No, I'm sure I did.
You make me sick sometimes.
All right, so let's keep talking about Batman. We can't go off the topic. The Batman, or we can. What the fuck? Who cares? This show's in the tank anyway. It doesn't matter. What is life?
Put it in the tank.
The Batman villains have been revealed. Who?
Oh yeah, this is what I was mad about.
Yeah, here's who Robert Pattinson will be fighting.
But this is all speculation as well.
Yeah, this is all speculation.
Okay, so I hope it's not true. The Penguin and Catwoman.
Yeah, the Penguin and Catwoman were.
That sounds a lot like a movie I've seen before with Michael Keaton.
Reeves won't be casting Batman's Rogues Gallery until Pattinson closes his deal, which is believed to be imminent. This despite the fact that, to the best of my knowledge, the Twilight Star hasn't read the script because it still isn't quite finished. This is all from insider information to Collider. Yeah.
So what do you think about a modern take on the Penguin?
Because
I've actually been thinking about this a lot. So I was thinking, like, what if the first Batman movie is a gangster movie, like The Godfather, where Cobblepot is like Don Corleone? This is what threw me though, is when they were like Catwoman. And I was like, God, fuck. Like, Stop
again.
Stop with the Catwoman.
Here we go again.
Take a chill pill. Like if it was Penguin, Falcone, and Carmoni family. Remember from Long Halloween?
Yeah.
Like if it was just a gangster story.
No, I think
Sign me up.
The Long Halloween would be a great first Batman movie to start a new Batman because you can infer a lot about the character. You don't have to be explained a lot about the character. I think that would work extremely well.
Maroni is what it's called. Falcone, Maroni,
Yeah.
Cobblepot, Wayne. What was the fifth family? Never mind. That's another conversation.
I don't remember. And then, so you were saying earlier with the heavy noir tone, like that's been rumored for a while. Entertainment websites, guy talking for the BYO show, which I guess is a podcast or an internet program, named Ryan Unicomb, which is just a terrible name.
Shout out Ryan. We don't know you. You could be a really nice guy.
That's true. If it's
Zach
true,
is insulting
nice
your
I'm
manhood.
I'm sorry I insulted you, Ryan. Apparently he has some insider information about the plot and story about the Batman. So, John, are you ready for me to dive into this?
I've read a lot of Batman, so not much is going to surprise me. Go ahead.
Okay. The Batman will be a point-of-view driven story told from Batman Bruce Wayne's perspective. The story involves a big figurehead in Gotham City being murdered, with Batman attempting to solve it. This in turn brings him face-to-face with many of the foes in Gotham's rogues gallery, which explains why Reeves wants to have more than one villain in the movie. As many as half a dozen, possibly. It sounds like Batman will encounter these different characters on his journey to identifying and narrowing down the murderer, making this whodunit in a sense. About Batman himself, Ryan mentions that he's still in the early stages of his career. It's been a couple of years since he's been Batman, and his relationship with Gordon is still in its infancy. As such, he doesn't want to step on the GCPD and is still trying to work with them on this case. According to Ryan, the Batman marks the beginning of Bruce's legacy on his path to learning what he will eventually become. Finally, Ryan echoes what we've heard from the kind of Batman movie Reeves is aiming for. The Batman is very much a detective movie, with Batman's detective skills being fully utilized. He is called the world's finest detective for a reason, and the Batman may very well show us why. End quote for all this. So this is all apparently insider information from a guy that has something to do with the movie.
This sounds like fan fiction.
Yeah, I mean, you could chalk this all up to fan
I could have
fiction.
written that.
Yeah.
That sounds like a Batman story right in my head. So, I have written these on receipt paper before. I've read them to you guys when I was blacked out drunk, and mine was better, and you can't even deny that. Mine starts out with Batman talking to the Joker in jail. Boom. Started a trilogy out that way. Anyway, you know what I would really like? Is a Batman series that is narrated by Alfred.
Listening.
All right? So let's say you cast someone really strong as Alfred, a good seasoned voice actor or just general actor in general.
Danny DeVito.
Perfect. And he's like, you know what you gotta know about Bruce is he goes out there and he gets punched in the face and I gotta stitch him back up.
That's how it starts.
Yeah.
The fever. The rage that turns good men cruel.
That's pretty good. That's a good Danny DeVito. But no, seriously, all jokes aside, a good thing narrated by Alfred would be an interesting take.
Yeah.
Or Jim Gordon or something.
Well, that's the thing, is that you have so much. This character is so rich. You could do so much with him. That's why I kind of get your frustration, where it's why are we falling back on Penguin Catwoman? I like the idea of them doing the whole. Just do Arkham City. Yeah. For the love of God, do Arkham City.
But that would involve all the characters. You gotta introduce your Batman first in your first movie. So I think your first movie should be a closely knit character story dealing with gangsters in Gotham City, and then the next movie is when you're boom, something like that. But what would also be really dope is Batman goes to the bayou and fights Killer Croc, and he's just fighting a crocodile. He's just fighting a crocodile.
Batman fights a croc, and then he gets some Creole, and then he fights a croc and gets some gumbo, and then he fights a croc and
goes to Bourbon Street, and
goes to Bourbon
he's
Street.
just laying down dollars.
No, I'd watch that for sure.
Right?
For sure.
That's Mark Wahlberg is Batman. Oh, I think a Batman.
I think I found a Batman. I think I found a penguin.
What? No. What?
Yeah.
No. What?
That's a good Mark Wahlberg.
What? No. What? No. Maybe not. Maybe you need to go fuck yourself.
Maybe go fuck yourself. We don't have to talk about it. We're getting to the end of it. We're winding on. We're running on steam here.
What are we watching? Oh, hell yeah. Why'd you save this for now? We should have started with this.
No, but this is like not related to anything. I mean, except
it's
for the
related
fact that
to everything.
Movie.
It's so good.
Yeah, and so
Look
new
at
Once Upon a
Pacino.
Hollywood trailer. What are your thoughts?
Love it. I'm ready. When does this movie come out?
That's a good question. July 26th.
Let's go.
Sooner rather than I expected. I would expect this to be like a holiday movie.
Gateway
for sure.
It looks so fun.
Apparently, it just premiered at Cannes Film Festival, so I haven't read any like critical reception to it yet after being premiered at the film festival. But
dude, Brad Pitt is so awesome.
It just looks fabulous. Yeah.
Who's hotter, Brad Pitt or Leo? Carly?
I think Leo.
How dare you? I'm totally in the BP camp. No doubt.
I don't know.
What about you? Don't give me that
I'm gonna have to
Inception
go
bullshit.
with Brad Pitt, I think. Yeah, just in terms of like he's got that old grizzled look that I really like. Leo's a better actor than Brad Pitt, I think.
No,
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. No, he is. Dude, this movie looks so cool.
Yeah,
This kind of freaks me out though.
It's a little scary. What
The cult stuff really bothers me.
Yeah.
That shit keeps me up at night. So
I'm
not really into that.
Have you watched the trailer for Midsummer?
Yes.
Have you watched the trailer?
I
for
don't
want. Yeah. So I'm not going to be seeing that movie, nor will I touch it with a 10-foot pole. But the trailer was fabulous.
The thing that really crept up on me when we were watching Bad Times at the El Royale was the cult shit. I was like, oh, this came out of left field. I don't like this.
Yeah.
I love that stuff.
No,
I mean,
think it's
like
fascinating.
they handled it really well, but like that stuff really freaks me out. Like really freaks me out. Because like, what if I take a wrong turn and I'm in a cult all of a sudden? You know?
No,
what I mean?
when the show is over, remind me. I want to show you the trailer for Midsummer because
I want to show you something after this is done. So
She's going to show you that she's in a cult, bitch.
oh my god. But yeah, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I'm incredibly excited. I think this is going to be. I mean, you know how much I love the glamour of Los Angeles and Hollywood.
How much would you pay to see Brad Pitt and Leo going? Dun, 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 dun,
Well, I thought you were going to say for a second
dun, dun,
Gosling
dun,
being
dun,
directed
dun,
by
dun, dun.
Tarantino.
I don't think that they're friends.
I don't think so either.
Yeah,
But I'd like to see that.
yeah. Gosling is so far up Damien Chazelle's asshole that.
Which I'm fine
Yes.
Yeah, so we got a little teaser, a little stinger. I know this. We can't really dwell. There's not much to talk about. It's literally just the fucking two of them talking.
It's just the year being redeemed, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
November, right?
November 2019.
Do we
Rick and
know if
Morty's
all
back.
the episodes are being released at once, or if it's going to be like
It'll be the same weekly. I'm sure.
Weekly?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the same as always. Because it's still Adult Swim, so it'll be in like a normal cartoon syndication.
Okay.
But we don't know how long this season will be now. Now that they got picked up for the big thing,
Yeah.
they could be like 20 episode seasons versus 10, which I don't think they will, but
I think they're going to extend it a little bit.
maybe 12. Whatever, man. They have not let me down yet.
Nope,
so
not yet.
We will cross that bridge when we get there.
Yep, that show's been consistently good since
That
it
show
started.
is just about damn near perfect, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But if you talk to the wrong person, they'll be like, "That show is so crude."
Well, so it's a totally binary in my opinion. It's like you either click with it or you don't, and it's a very, and I get it. Like I get both sides of the spectrum.
it's awful for some people.
Yeah, for sure.
Some people like it's.
If I tried to show my mom that show, I think she'd have a heart attack.
yeah, probably.
But it's
Same.
like,
What's your favorite Rick and Morty though?
Total Recall or whatever Total Recall, right? Yeah,
I like Rick Landis mix up.
Rick Land. Those are the two best in my opinion. It's like I know we go back and forth, but those are the two best
so
for
good.
sure.
So good. Same old shit. Morty's killing Mortys.
That whole Stand By Me thing it's genius. It's great writing. It's great.
I thought I was left-handed, Morty.
Yeah.
Then you should use your left hand to eat more vegetables.
Last story, John, and I know this is one. He's dead. I killed him. I'm so sorry.
You should have ended with Rick and Morty.
I should have ended with that. John? The Last of Us 2 is in its final stages of development, says the game's co-creator. This comes from Games Radar 12 days ago. Says, quote, The Last of Us 2 is easily one of the most anticipated new games of 2019 and
better
beyond.
than Days Gone.
Yeah. According to a recent retailer leak, Jesus, that's a tongue twister.
Say it again.
According to a recent retailer leak,
Hey!
may be arriving as early as October of 2019. Which has been since corroborated by news that Naughty Dog has wrapped filming on the sequel, and rumors that we'll be hearing more from Sony before E3, despite their absence from this year's show.
So I have a question real quick before we move on.
Well, sorry.
Wait, pause.
Pause. Go ahead.
Do you know the story of The Last of Us? I could play through it this weekend. You could see it firsthand. I think she needs to know.
I don't have a copy here. Drew DeFawcett has my copy.
Drew! You bitch. If we sign in on my PS profile, I got one.
Okay.
Anyway.
Surprised you don't carry it around with you.
Yeah.
Anthony Newman.
In a fanny pack or something.
Or we could watch... We should just watch all the cinematics. No, that's selling it short. You gotta play through it.
It was a little bit ago, like a week or two ago, a guy named Anthony Newman, who's the game's co-director, said that the studio is seeking to, quote, close out work on the game, suggesting it's in its final stages of development. So
They had job openings.
Yeah.
I called you about this.
You did. We talked about this.
Did you tell Carly?
I did not, because
what the fuck, man?
She has a job now. But hey, do you want to apply to?
You can't do this now. I could have done that.
Yes, I do. Who are they hiring? Someone tell me about it, quick.
They have like visual effects openings and motion capture openings to finish out the rest of the game.
Way above my.
I'm gonna volunteer to be someone who gets stabbed in the throat by Ellie, and I'm ready for it. I'm just gonna be like.
I think you in the VO booth with Ashley Johnson would literally be the end of your life. I think you would be so happy you would die.
They'd be like, "Can someone get his boner out of here?"
Pick him up by his wood. He won't go far.
Oh, let's play that game. Let's do it. Let's go. I'm ready.
Yeah. So, John, that's all the news.
No, that's it?
That's it. We
Wow.
hit a lot of it. We hit Batman.
What was your favorite news story?
I don't want to talk about it anymore, you know?
I haven't at that topic. You didn't even bring it up.
All right, so what's the at dad? Well, you have an at dad topic?
Yeah.
Introduce it.
Okay.
Say you have an at dad topic.
I have an at that topic. It's really important. It's really, really a big one.
Tickles my tongue.
How long do you think movie theaters will be around? I was thinking about this week.
You know my thoughts on this.
Not recently. Because I feel like Endgame might have revived your thoughts a little bit. Maybe I'm wrong, but I would like you to clarify.
Do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first? Do you have an opening statement?
I think you already have your mind made up, so maybe you should just go first.
No, so I think theaters, the definition of what a theater is going to change in the next 10 years. I think it's going to be a lot slower than a lot of people are imagining, because Endgame just made $2 billion in the box office. So people are still motivated to go to the theaters. I think once it gets to a point where the only movies that people are paying money to go see in the theaters are these big blockbusters, Aladdins, your Deadpools, your Endgames, your Star Warses, all these big Disney blockbusters, these big Fast and the Furious movies that draw in millions and millions of dollars. What you're going to see happening, I think, is the smaller movies, the movies that don't have these bigger budgets, the movies that are a little bit more tame in their expectations of revenue, are going to start to have partnerships with the streaming services. And I think what it's going to really be is that, like, the theaters are going to start to become the place where you go to see the big budget summer blockbusters. That's where you go to the theater to see your Star Wars, and there's only going to be a few of them. I think these like little tiny theaters that show art house movies are going to start to see some like struggles, because a lot of those art house movies I think are going to have more success just putting their movies up on streaming services, charging people whatever, like $15 to $20 to see them at home, day and date, the second it comes out, instead of charging you $10 a ticket at the theater, where the actual studio behind the movie only gets like a fraction of that profit. But for a movie like Endgame, where people are going to pay that big sum and go to the theater and go see it multiple times and bring their family and bring their kids and their wives and their kids and their dogs and everything, and it's like
their kids and their wives and their kids and their dogs.
Yeah, it's like
dog ever gone to a movie
yeah,
theater.
And it's like the experience too. It's like those big blockbuster movies are the occasions where you get people to spend money on beer and alcohol and food and popcorn and soda, and they hang out and they get beers and they hang out there, and it's a big thing, and they make billions of monies. They make so much monies. So I think for the next 10 years, theaters will still continue to be around, but I think you're going to start seeing a lot less smaller movies in the theaters and just the big ones. And then it's going to be a thing where it's like, I'm trying to think of like a smaller movie, like a
Gateway.
Yeah, like a Gateway, but like what's a smaller movie that we went and saw at Gateway? Like
La La Land.
Yeah, that makes sense. It didn't gross like a whole lot in terms of box office especially worldwide.
It came out the same winter as a Star Wars movie and something else that was really big. So
yeah. It swept the Academy Awards.
Yeah,
it did a really great job.
But it's by all accounts a small budget movie.
Yes, so I think something like that is just going to be like, it's releasing. It has a partnership with Netflix. Maybe it has a partnership with Amazon or Hulu or whatever, or Disney Plus. You can watch it, pay $25. You can watch it with as many friends as you want on opening night.
Yeah.
Have yourself a party.
Yeah.
And then you go to the theater and you pay $14 to see Endgame Part 2. Or you go to see The Secret Wars in 10 years when they revive that shit.
That's going to happen.
That's going to happen for sure.
That's not going to be 10 years. It's going to be 5.
You think so?
Yeah. I'll see you guys in 2024 for Secret War. You can believe that.
We'll see. But yeah, no.
So wait, then,
answer,
then who the fuck cares about the Academy Awards at that point?
The Academy. The Academy is the only people that have ever cared about those awards. It's like most people that most of the people that watch those award ceremonies are in it for
Green
like
Book, I guess, right?
Yeah, it's like the Academy Awards are an industry awards show. It's not like a fan voted conference. It's an industry awards panel.
What do you think about theaters and their livelihood?
I agree with Zach's assessment, but I think your timeline is much too quick. I think it's going to be more than 10 years before movie theaters are phased out in the capacity that you are expecting, personally.
Now, I'm not saying in 10 years they're going to be gone.
Well, no. But I think that it's going to take more than 10 years for it to change that drastically.
So you think it's going to take longer than 10 years for a film like La La Land? Or a film like... did you see the trailers for, like, Mandy? That Nicolas Cage movie that's like that indie movie with... That's like an acid trip movie. Did you see the trailers for... Fucking... What's an indie movie that's popular that people know about?
The Big Sick.
Yeah, that's a good pick, actually. That was in theaters. That got trailers. That got ads on like a lot of places.
Amazon is an Amazon.
Heavy
movie.
social media boost, but it also made its way to theaters, right?
Yeah. But
movies like that are not
essentially. It was going to be an Amazon
in
Prime movie.
Yeah,
it was going to be a Prime movie in 3 months anyway.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like
that's
movies
the same
like
thing
that
like
are not going to.
Manchester. So like the thing that I think back is like Manchester by the Sea, like 2 Academy Awards ago, was an Amazon produced movie that got them best screen adapted like screenplay and best actor for Casey Affleck, and that movie was on Amazon Prime within 3 months of it releasing in the theaters. You know what I mean? So like it was gonna be on Amazon Prime regardless. Yeah. So it's just like it was almost like releasing in the theater was a prerequisite to getting an award.
Well, that's what it is. Is that like currently the requirements for you to get an an Academy Award or an Emmy is that you have to have a theater run.
Yeah.
And that's like Steven Spielberg, God bless his stupid ass heart.
Hey.
I love Steven Spielberg, but he's fighting to say that like Netflix original movies like Roma shouldn't have gotten any sort of Academy Award recognition when he's fucking out of his mind because Roma was the best movie of last year.
He's opinionated, I'll give you that.
It's like, I totally get it, but it's like, you have to understand that Roma was a piece of art, and it doesn't matter that it didn't go to theaters because theaters are fucking stupid and kids get on the goddamn platform and women take photos of Thor with their flashes on. Did I tell you about this?
Mm-mm.
Carla and I went to go see Endgame for a second time, and there was a woman on the front row of the theater where every time Chris Hemsworth was on screen, she had Snapchat open and was taking a flash photo of the screen.
I don't know how the fuck you see everything that you see in movies because you always walk out with 5 complaints that I never noticed or saw or heard.
He says you.
Just
It's you.
Nitpicky.
No, I'm sure it's me because I can't shut out the people around me.
Well, you're the person who needs to see movies at home.
Yeah. God bless it. If I could never go to the theater again, I would love that.
I love going to the theater.
Me too, but I hate people at the theater. That's why it's
you
like...
You can't have one in the same.
I know, that's the thing is that... But the thing is that I had one...
You can't bank on a perfect theater chance.
But but that's what I want, is that like when we saw Endgame at Gateway, premiere of Endgame, our theater was awesome.
Yeah.
Everyone
Except
was,
for that drunk girl that was sitting right next to me.
She was so annoying.
Yeah, remember when she got up to go to the bathroom and left for 20 minutes?
Oh, shit.
It's not 20 minutes.
Yeah, it was more like 10 or 15.
I'm just fucking with you.
No,
We've all
but,
been
like,
there. No, like the thing
legitimately,
hold on. The thing that like I always think of with like a really poor cinematic experience was Logan. Is like we all sat down to watch Logan, and this woman brought in her like 5-year-old kids, and we were like, "What the hell are you doing here? Like, this is going to be really violent." But we didn't know how violent it was going to be, and then the movie opens, and he's like stabbing people in the face.
Yeah,
and these kids are just like, "Okay, cool." You know,
they're running around. They don't give a fuck. Because
Michael was asleep.
Michael was dead asleep. No, so it's like what I live for. That's the thing is that like I don't like the gamble. I'm not a gambler. The theater is a gamble to me personally, as a person that
you're not a smooth talking gambler.
For me, the way I enjoy film the most is silence. I'm able to focus on the movie without any distractions, be completely immersed in the story. The problem is that like at Gateway when we saw Endgame, everyone was perfectly behaved. I wasn't distracted at all. Everyone was having fun, laughing where they wanted to laugh, cheering when there was cheering necessary, and no one was being rude. But then I go to I go to Shazam at a rando theater, at like a public theater in the middle of Cincinnati, and we have kids that are like doing jumping jacks on the stage below the screen. I'm not exaggerating. That's literally what they were doing. And I'm immediately taken out of the movie, and I didn't enjoy Shazam as much as I would have. And I don't like that gamble. I don't like spending $14 on a film and having that experience be completely tied to the people around me. And I know that might just be me, but I know there are thousands, millions of people out there just like me that can't stand when people are being rude and obnoxious at theaters. And I think more than anything, that is going to kill the theater experience, is that people just don't know how to act at these sorts of things. And I would rather just pay the extra money to watch it at home in my own terms, completely alone, silence, that I'm focusing on this film.
Okay. So I appreciate that. I do, because I've been in a lot of bad theater situations. I have. My Shazam experience with Grayson was also really bad. It was my birthday. He bought me a ticket for my birthday. I was really excited to see Shazam, and this guy was talking the whole time. And Grayson doesn't get mad about anything, and he was really mad the whole time. He just like kept like, it's like when I go see a movie with you. He was looking down at the guy like mean mugging him. And
So
we almost said something, but then his friend was just like, I think you're being too loud. And the guy was like, oh, I'm sorry, and then like stopped talking like by the third act of the movie. That's besides the point. Maybe if I would have like really, 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 really been looking forward to Shazam, I would have been upset You know what I mean? So I think that plays a part of it. Is like, how much have you been anticipating the movie that you're seeing? You know, like if someone was talking when we all saw The Force Awakens on that opening, like I probably would have strangled somebody alive.
A friend of mine that I work with told me that on his opening night showing of Force Awakens, there was a group of kids behind him. Like, not kids, like, mind you, like
teenagers.
Teenagers, like the same,
People
like
that
the
can
same,
drive. Yeah.
the same age that we were, not teenagers, the same age that we were when we saw Force Awakens.
Kids?
When we saw Force Awakens.
College kids?
So like, were we in freshmen?
We were sophomores in high school, or in college.
Okay, so
I
like,
was there.
Yeah.
okay, so imagine like freshmen in
you guys were
college,
dating.
right around that age, like just a little bit younger. He said that this group of kids were like behind him, and they like right before the movie started, before the previews and everything, one of them was like, "So I heard Han Solo dies in this," and said it out loud for like everybody to hear.
Yeah,
It's
but
like,
if you say like I heard, like that could be false, right?
no, I don't know. I would have gotten him and punched him. That would have been it. I would have gone to jail.
I just
Fuck
assume
you.
that if I hear someone say shit like that, I just assume they're kidding, and then I find out for myself if they're. But you can't tune things out like that,
Nope.
so.
The thing is that like, I know I'm weird. There must be others like me out there. I know there are.
There are.
I know there are.
I'm not saying you're weird at all. I'm not. You are more hyper-tuned to spoilers than a lot of the people that I know, but that's not something that I will discount you for. In fact, I find it admirable that you care that much about the art form.
Well, it's not just spoilers. It's the experience of the film.
Sure.
The director, when he was piecing together this movie, and
Did
when
not
the editors,
expect someone to tell the secrets.
and
away.
we're also not expecting some fat bitch to be unwrapped. I think about this all the time too. When I went and saw The Force Awakens with my mom and my brother, two people that don't really love Star Wars, but I wanted to expose them to that. This old ass motherfucking couple behind us were unwrapping Werther's Originals by the piece during the movie in the quiet parts, and I had to eventually stand up and be like, "Excuse me, would you please stop unwrapping your candy because I can't hear the fucking movie."
Yeah.
It's like, I can't stand it. It's like, how can you be disrespectful? You paid $15 to see this movie. So did everyone around you. Don't ruin that experience for everybody else, and that's why I don't like the theaters anymore. Is that
Yeah,
like,
I mean, I
every
guess
other
like,
time
what you
I
have to
go
think
is a
about
bad
is like
experience.
no one's gonna care an equal amount. So this
Yeah.
is what you have to decide. Is like, because this is what I brought this topic up because I knew that you would have a really strong opinion on it, and I really like talking about it with you.
Yeah, it's a good
and I also
topic.
wanted to hear Carly's opinion on it too. But like, how much, like, if we were to just simply do away with movie theaters, and as fun as it would be to be able to have like the three of us watch Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse premiere on that couch over there.
Oh, so much fun.
But like, does that take away like from the human experience? Like the more you do shit like that, the less you're gonna come into contact with any other person. Like, how
I mean, I
long is
guess
it?
that's
How
true.
long is it before you start ordering every meal to your house? And
Give me
ordering
that option too.
I mean, it's for some people.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not against everybody. It's just like, it's kind of where we're going. It's like Wall-E. You know what I mean? Or, you know, it's just like, as soon as you can stop interacting with people in general, it's just like, is that detrimental to the human physique?
Yeah, I guess the
human
thing
psychology.
the thing with theaters is that the reason I don't want to interact with humans is because they ruin my experience.
Okay.
But I like interacting with humans in a public sense. Like, I don't mind going out. In
Like
public
when we
and
go to
going
Gateway
bars
and no
going-
one ruins your experience, and then you can go to the bar afterwards and talk about it.
Yeah, and then some
That's
random
a positive
person, and
experience.
because like that's the thing is that what will survive.
But you've seen it by that point.
Yeah, chain theaters may or may not survive. To be determined. What will survive is places like Gateway and Alamo Drafthouse,
Yep.
which are these dedicated centers for film enthusiasts.
I would
Not
say they're
motherfucking-
dedicated entertainment for just like entertainment. Like, they're dedicated to entertain humans.
Yes, but Maud and her 3 kids that are off on school for the summer, that are like, she's like, I don't want to deal with these fucking brats for another second. I'm going to take them to go see the Lego Movie 2. They can run around the theater all they want, and I'm just going to sit there and have a moment of peace while I play Candy Crush on my phone. It's like, you don't go to Alamo Drafthouse to do that, you're going to get your ass kicked out.
Well, that's the best part about Alamo is, and this is what I think you would like. You haven't been to one, have you?
No, I've never been. I've only heard the glamour stories of Alamo Drafthouse.
You're gonna love this. Have you heard this shit? You get a notepad, And if someone is bothering you, you write down on your notepad, the person 2 rows behind me is talking too much. You give it to your waiter, because what they do is, it's like The Hobbit, where everything was like shrunken down so they could walk and look shorter than everybody. So there's like little canyons in front of each row. They walk by and they grab your notes to be like, I need another beer. I need more popcorn. Or they're like, this person next to me is raping me, or some shit like that. And that was a bad example. But you know what I mean?
It got dark
I don't
as
know
shit.
if I want to go this anymore.
but like they get notes and then they can handle it.
Yep.
Without you having to be involved.
Yep.
Which is something that, like, some people are more comfortable with solving that themselves, a la yourself, versus people that are more like, hopefully someone else will just, like, resolve this.
Well, the thing is that if
which
I don't
me.
say something, no one else is going to fucking say something.
Right, but how great would it be if you could just have the staff to
But the thing is that in Alamo Drafthouse, people know that. People know that you don't go to the theaters and talk because you're gonna get kicked out. It's like there's that precedent.
Yeah.
People where we live don't have that precedent. They just go and they don't give a fuck and they talk and they open candies and they're loud and they let their kids run around. That's my thing, is that like those sorts of theaters will survive. Those places for film enthusiasts, the people that want to watch movies, will thrive and live on because they will be few and far between. But
there'll be art house,
15 AMC
centers,
theaters in the same 50-mile radius.
Cinemark.
Half of those are going to fucking close because people are just, once the option is for Maud and her kids to put on a goddamn movie at home for $20 or to go to the theater for $10 a head, plus the $10 for popcorn, plus the $8 for soda, they're just going to stay home. And I say stay home. Leave the movies to the people that actually want to watch them and care about them. And I know that I'm being discriminatory inherently. Everyone should be able to appreciate art in the way that the director or the team.
But don't get in your fucking way.
But people appreciating art is also it's the same reason why you don't fucking talk in the library. It's the same reason why you don't yell and be loud and obnoxious when you're at an art gallery.
You don't touch paintings.
You don't touch paintings. You
there's a lot of
It's etiquette.
So there's a lot of underlying rules that you might not be taught. That's just something that we have to come to terms with. But it shouldn't be up to us to not include people in the experience of art because they don't understand any better. So it's the people that don't care is the ones that we need to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
It's the people that don't understand that we need to educate. So it's how do we go about doing that?
It's a curious debate because we're going to keep. It's going to keep evolving.
She's right. It's going to be the next 2 decades by far.
Yeah.
Before anything is resolved.
I think it's going to happen faster in cities. So Los Angeles, New York, Austin, Texas, places where there's these places are more common. It's going to happen a lot faster. But we're in Cincinnati, Ohio. We're in our Midwest tendencies. We're set in our ways where it's we have the biggest theater in Cincinnati is the AMC Theater on the Newport. It's overlooking the river. It's huge. It's 27 screens. It's giant. They play every movie all the time, and it's connected to a Dave & Buster's and an arcade, and there's all these restaurants and a pizza place and this mall shopping center. It's a very casual experience. Not for me. Give me gateways all day long because that's the place where I want to live. I would see so much more movies in theaters if I wasn't so scared that I was spending $10 to have a bad experience. And that's my dilemma. As someone that loves film and loves dissecting it and discussing it and being a part of that atmosphere, I feel deterred from going to the theater because I just don't. I'm scared that I'm spending money to have a less than satisfactory experience. If we had an Alamo, I would feel much more secure with doing that on a regular basis. But I just think it's I don't know. It's a multifaceted issue. We ain't gonna solve it at this little table here on Radiovania.
Hey,
that's for sure.
JP started the fire.
You really opened. Yeah.
I opened him up like a coconut.
This is one of my passionate things. It's I'm not.
This is what I wanted.
Been 20 minutes
I just wanted to open the coconut. I have many other questions that I would love to continue talking to you guys about.
I'm not very passionate. I'm not very
I'm not a passionate
vehement
man.
on a lot of things, but one of the things is that people's respect of art is something that I hate. I hate it when I see people at museums not giving a fuck and being disrespectful and running around and making noise. I hate the same thing applies to theaters. Because you're essentially watching the same thing. You're watching a visual art medium. Why would you fucking let your kid do jumping jacks on the stage?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's Shazam, a goofy comic book movie. It's still a piece of art that a creator wanted to put their vision behind to show to an audience. And I think that...
Is Shazam already out of the theaters?
I think it's already gone, yeah.
That's a bummer. It's probably way better than Aladdin.
Well, they can take solace in knowing that Hellboy only was in the theaters for 4 weeks.
So, like, one of my pet peeves is people not wanting to give the source material a chance for comic book movies. I love that everyone's into the Avengers, but, like, I will, like, suggest to the kids that they read certain things, and they'll be like, no. I'll be like, I was like, if you like the movie, like, I think you would really like the book. And they'll be like, I don't want to read that. The comics are for nerds. I'm like, we're still in this? Like, come on. Like, are you fucking
They'll
kidding
grow
me?
up and realize eventually.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a personal thing.
They need people like us to keep telling them.
I guess, yeah. I mean, like, you would have thought after Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse happened that anything would have been possible in terms of, like, that type of community growth.
But then that movie didn't make much money.
But that movie is quite possibly my favorite movie.
It's one of the best It's one of the best movies I've ever seen.
That's probably my favorite movie of the last 5 years. No joke.
It's awesome. It's a great movie.
Like, I think I like that movie more than any of the MCU or Star Wars movies that have come out in the last 5 years. So.
It's a great film, no doubt about it. But
let's close the show out.
Yeah, hour and 36 minutes. That's a hefty boy.
It's not our best, but yeah, it's a good one.
John, do you have anything else to add to this, or are we all set?
No, I don't have much to add to it. I would say, if you're interested in the comics for this summer, there's not a whole lot of comic book movies coming out this summer, but there are plenty of good stories to dive into this summer for both major titles and smaller indie publishers like IDW and Image. So just go to any comic book store and just ask. This is my favorite thing to do, and Zach can attest to this because Zach asks every waiter at every restaurant ever, what's your favorite thing on the menu right now? Do the same thing at any comic book store, and they will not steer you into something that's weird. Like they will give you their honest opinion.
Well, it might steer you into something that's weird, but that doesn't mean it's bad.
Good point. They'll steer you into something delicious that you might not know that you would like.
Or, if you're bored, read Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah.
Because it's Zach's favorite comic book.
Or Ultimate Spider-Man, because that's Jonathan's favorite comic book.
If you wanna follow the show, you can do so in a myriad of different ways that will help us out immensely. You can go to radiovania.com. That'll link you to our YouTube page. You can subscribe. Click a thumbs up if you want to. Do whatever you want to on that page. Just click a bunch of buttons, except for the dislike button. Yeah. That would help. Or, don't report us for, pornography or something.
No way.
We ain't doing that. You can also email us. Oh, Connor sent us an email.
Oh, read it.
All right, I need the mailbag song.
What's that sound that makes me wanna wag my tail? When it comes, I wanna yell, mail.
Connor Kempf on May 2nd wrote, "Hey guys, just finished listening to the Endgame episode. Sorry that I wasn't able to answer your call during the drink bet. For the record, I would have sided with Zach. Does JP owe Zach a drink now that the Russo brothers have confirmed that old Steve Rogers at the end is actually Chris Evans with makeup and some CGI to make his neck skinny?
They totally made that shit up.
You stay classy, San Diego. Connor."
That is so made up.
Nope.
That is not Chris Evans.
Nope, there's a video of Chris Evans.
There's a guy on IMDb.
Yeah, but then there's a video of Chris Evans with old man makeup in that shot. I think they just used that guy as
body double?
Yeah, or something.
So we're both right.
No, I still think you owe me a drink. That's Chris Evans. Chris Evans is the one speaking and acting.
Fuck you, Connor. You betrayed me.
Connor, thank you. You supported me
Connor,
in America.
I've won one drink bet on this show, and the minute that you can back me up, you side with this bastard, I'll never forgive you.
Radiovania.
It's great. It's where dreams come true.
Plug it in your veins.
And put it in your asshole.
We will see you guys soon. We're not sure when. The next time we talk, we might have some E3 stuff to talk about, because that's coming up soon.
I doubt it. Sony's not going to be there.
Well, they're going to have their own digital press conference, so we might have a Last of Us release date between now and the next time we talk, John.
Yeah, we'll do a whole show on that.
For sure.
And you promise me that we will.
I promise.
Because we have not done a Last of Us cast.
Cast of Us.
A cast of us. You owe me that.
I promise you.
Next episode.
As soon as I get that drink from the drink bet. Because I was so right.
I will go buy you a case right now if the next show is...
Alright, let's do it. We're going to close off the show. Here we go.
That's what I thought.
Alright, bye everybody.